Rastafari Revelation.
Every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Spreaker.com. It's time for
Rastafari Revelation, a 1-hour talk show produced and presented by members of the Rastafari Alliance for Science, Technology and the Arts.
coming to you live from the United Kingdom with news, views, reviews, previews, and interviews exploring the Rastafari movement. Rastafari Revelation, produced and presented by members of the Rastafari Alliance for Science, Technology, and the Arts, in collaboration with www.spreaker.com, the World Wide Web's
#1 podcasting platform. Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Welcome to another edition of Rastafari Revelation. A program produced and presented by members of the Rastafari Alliance for Science, Technology and the Arts, Rasta. I name is Ross Albert Williams, and also
I'm Empress Tempe.
Yeah, welcome to another program, Empress Tempe. It's been a pleasure, eventful week we've been having here in the United Kingdom. And also on the program, we have two guests from out in Shashamani. Perhaps Empress Tempe would like to welcome our guests and tell them who they are. Tell our listeners who they are.
All right, I would be delighted to. And first, Jah Rastafari, you're right, Ross Albert. We've just had such a blessed week, and I just want to thank our two guests. We have first, Christian, and I think I got it right, but nevertheless, she's here, she's live, she's ready, and she's all the way beside her is Ross Kabinda, Desmond Trotter, Ross Kabinda, our dear friend. And let me tell you, the two of them, you'll hear their voices right after mine. But this is just such a blessed moment right now, because both of them are live with us from Shashamani in Ethiopia.
Yeah, and I might just add all the way through the Skype system. And you're our first guest on Skype, and we're very, very blessed to have you. Yeah. Perhaps you could say a few words, and let's hear if we can get you live speaking to our guests.
Yeah, you're on. Just talk and tell us what you want us to know. Introduce yourself.
And so here we are at being connected with the power particle where His Majesty, where His Majesty, his favorite day, more than all relatives of Jacob, and then the days during the war years. So give thanks and praises for this connection.
Yes. In fact, that 121 is powerful, very powerful. Thank you for those words. And Ross Kabinda, we want to hear from you.
Okay, you need to. Okay, it's already 5 minutes moving down after 2 o'clock. We're here with Rastafari Revelation, the only Rastafari podcast on the internet, and we have linked up with two elder members of the Rastafari movement out there in Shashamane, Ethiopia, Empress Ijana, and also Ras Kabinda. We're still experiencing problems. So what we're going to do, whilst Empress Temple works out these problems, we're going to move on with the program, and we're going to play some more of our theme music. Ethiopia, the land of our fathers, the land where Jah Rastafari loves to be. As the swift bee to hive suddenly gathers, thy children are gathered to thee. With red, gold and green floating over us, with I Emperor to shield I from wrong, with I Jah, Haile Selassie, I future before us, we hail thee with shout and song. Rastafari. Rastafari Revelation. Yeah, well, Rastafari, on Saturday, actually it was on Monday, the 23rd of July, 2013, Ras Alberts and Empress Tempe made a 4-hour journey to Fairfield House, located in Bath, in Somerset, England, at the top of Newbridge Hill, to visit the former residence of His Imperial Majesty. At that location was held a commemorative 121 anniversary of the birth of Rastafari, Haile Selassie. Empress Tempe, we're going to reflect a little bit on that experience. Let's just begin by let's begin by speaking about our very gracious host who housed us at the Dean Villa. You spoke with the lady in depth, and she was telling you something about her experiences as a youth when she met the imperial family.
Yes, Ross Albert, she did. In fact, our whole journey was just a blessed journey. Never did we expect all that transpired to happen. At the Deanie Villa, which is the bed and breakfast hotel we stayed in, when I made the reservations, I had no idea that upon our arrival, the host, as you said, graced us and told us that, in fact, she had drawn us a hand-drawn map from the hotel to Fairfield House. Because she said after we made the reservations, her husband was not aware of it, but she was. And I asked her how. She said she had actually seen His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie. And she said her mother took her, and she was 7 years old at the time, but she never forgot it. And what the time she's referring to is on October the 18th, 1954, which was when he returned for the state ceremony where he was given the Freedom of the City Award. But I'm going to back up, because at that visit, Ross Albert, she remembered it because she said that he gave the city of Bath some ivory tusk as a gift. And she went on also and printed out that whole set of information off the internet. And I think that that was just so blessed, because had she not made us aware of that, we would not have known. So we're talking 2 different visits. And since then, I've done some research and found out, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I'm sure the viewers would want to hear, that his first visit when he was in exile was actually 1936 to 1940. And we're talking a second visit when he came back in 1954. And I'm going to tell you, it said that during that ceremony, he slipped away, and he spent 2 days at Bath where he freshened up and he tidied himself up, because that was home for him.
Yes, Empress Tempe, indeed it was a very spiritual experience,
yes.
Almost a pilgrimage,
yes,
to the former residence of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie in Bath, in Somerset, and that's over in the western side of the United Kingdom. When we come back, we're going to read a little bit more about Fairfield House and how he came to possess that very historic building.
Okay.
Stay tuned to Rastafari Revelation, the only Rastafari podcast on the World Wide Web. Okay, it's 15 minutes moving down past the hour, and as I mentioned at the top of the program, we have with us Empress Ijana and Raskabinda, Rastafarian elders based in Shashamane on the land grants, or what remains of the land grants in Ethiopia. And we're very pleased that they could join us, and we want to go across to Empress Ijana right now so that she could tell us what exactly transpired in Shashamane for that historic day in your part of the world.
Yes, I, Rastafari, give thanks and praises. You know, it was just such a joyful hour, a gloriful hour, an hour of linking in with the Shashamane community, an hour of feasting and rejoicing and giving thanks for the son born unto I and for the government which is still upon his shoulders. It's extra special. It's the high holiday, I think, one of two in the Rastafari calendar. But when it takes place on the Shashamane land grant, it has added significance. And of course, in terms of the repatriation trod, I am but an infant to the elder who sits beside I. And so I'm going to very quickly ask him to say a few words in terms of, you know, sometimes you go to Nyabingi and sometimes it is about numbers, sometimes not, but you reach to an angelic state where it feels as if your feet are lifted off the ground. And that is something that I experienced in the ISIS for 121st Earth Strong of His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I.
Sister Ed, as you mentioned that earlier on, we were speaking with Idren, who was at the Fairfield House and also at Nyabingi in Bristol, and he was giving us a very similar reaction. He thought that he was going beyond the seven heavens, and he described that there were certain ones who were really taken in and filled with the Spirit, you know. And he really expressed a similar description.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I read still. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Raskabinda.
Yeah, Raskabinda. Welcome to the program, Raskabinda.
Thanks, Rasta. Everything was blessed in the eyes of the Father, you know, because, you know, in Ethiopia, you feel the fulfillment of the prophecy, the prophetic times, you just watch the world events, and you can see the prophecies fulfilled in judgment is set upon Babylon. So it is crucial for I to have ourselves and supporting what I are doing out there in Ethiopia, because this is the hour of Ethiopia, you know, and in the Bible you can feel the spirit of the Father, you can feel his vibration. Like the scripture said, there are set thrones of judgment of the house of Selassie upon the thrones of Babylon. So you see now it's total confusion among them. So it's more for I and I as Rasta. Let us step up the movement towards coming home and getting ourselves involved in the works out on the continent, because the work is endless and every skill is necessary, every man with the ability the Lord is calling. So that is the spirit with the spirit within our heart, you know, for brethren and sisters to step it up and start to come home.
Yeah, well, I and I looking forward to making that trod. I cannot put the time or the day right now, but I guess that is I and I ultimate aspiration, to come home with the talents and the skills and to help with the building of the nation in Ethiopia. But speaking about the elders, Marcus Selassie, who was one of the elders who helped establish the Ethiopian World Federation in Dominica, Raskabinda. I saw that he's celebrating his 90th Earth Day. Tell us a little more about Marcus Selassie or world.
Yes, we went, a small group of us, to Nyabingi Drum and went to the gates of the day of his Earth Strong. We met him sitting up, you know, he had come in recently. He's been having some health issues, but he sat up and welcomed us quite in the moment. We went into the Nyabingi chanting, and he actually chanted a few chants with I, you know. So he's doing not very badly under the circumstances. He's now the eldest of the elders on the land. So it is quite significant, you know, at a time too when the EWS Shashamane is reasserting itself, and with some community support as well, to look specifically at what is happening with the land grant and our whole status in Ethiopia. So it is significant that he is with us and that we were able to celebrate his 90th Earth Strong with him. As Sabinda has said, the support for the elders is never enough. It's not consistent, but we do have another network of people dealing with that, and so anyone who wants to contribute, it's free to do that as well. But we really, really welcome the presence too. The significance of Solomon Wolf also has to do with the fact of the EWF Local 43, fully started in Jamaica, and also here with him in Shashamani. So there's a connection too between the repatriation effort and the land grant in that presence of Empress Title Local 43 with the person of Solomon Wolf.
Yes, I give thanks for that testimony there, Sister. Raska Binda, if you could just come in and speak a little bit about Solomon Wolf, who we now know as Marcus Selassie. He was one of the elders, along with Keith Baker, that traveled to Dominica and gave us the charter to establish the EWF Incorporated in Dominica.
Yeah, remember those early days. I had gone to Jamaica and met with him over there and invited him to come to Dominica, and he fulfilled that mission. It was a crucial move in Iowa there. I remember them days I had just begun to make movements into Ethiopia. I was coming through the Caribbean and reaching it. So he's been there by now. He's a solid lion. He has returned there. He had returned under the time of the Durgas. After the overthrow of the Durg, he returned there, and since that time he's here consistently. He's a bit aged now, so he's kind of more restrained in his movement, but his mindset is still there solid, and so he has paid his partisan. I just to look after him now in his tender age. Because now at his age now, he needs care and attention on a more regular basis. So it's that kind of looking at the community to set up for in ourselves here in Shashamani. We have the social welfare program and the elders program, where we set aside certain funds and solicit funds to look after the elders. So, in their tender age, they need people to practically look after them, take care of them within their own personal well-being and things like that. And we are together here. Shashamani is a small community, and I are close within our own when it comes to them levels. In the care of those amongst us who are in the here.
Yes, Raska Binda, that was Irie to hear this conversation. Listeners, you're listening to Rastafari Revelation. This is Ross Albert Williams along with Empress Tempe and our two guests, Empress Ijana and Raska Binda over there in Shashamani, connecting with us via Skype. It's 23 minutes moving down 2 o'clock. Let's take a short break, and I think we're going to have to say goodbye to our guests. They've been with us since we started the program, and we hope that members out there in Shashamani that might be listening to the program through our Facebook site enjoyed their little contribution.
But before we go, Sister Ajanya and Raska Binda, did you two have any last words? Is there anything else that you want the listeners to know? Because this is a momentous occasion, and we want to give you that opportunity right now to say your last words on what you want everyone to know.
I want everyone to know that His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I, is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the conquering Lion, and therefore they must have no doubts whatsoever about coming home. Yes. Banish all doubts and fears and come home, because the community here in Shashamani is not as strong as it needs to be, because too many ones are still out there. So whatever it is that you're lacking in confidence about, just put it aside and come home. Rastafari live, Rastafari love. And Shashamani in Ethiopia, I come from the island of Anguilla. Here I eat better than I have ever eaten in my life. I know the farmers personally. I'm having organic food every day. So, I come from a place where the food arrives by boat. Blessed Rastafari love. Come home. That is the message that I have. And to know that really everything that you could want is here, and what is not here, we bring it. So we are building Ethiopia, we're building Africa. Rastafari lives.
Selassie.
Yeah, I'm destined at this stage. After 100 years, I have been professing the faith. It is time for I as Rastafari to strategize a 5-year development plan as a first stage of repatriation, showing practical and feasible ways and means of coming home. What are we going to do? If we're going to go into agricultural development, real estate or whatever, but we need to have certain plans before we research them as to the feasibility of those ideas. Like for instance, commercial farming, which is the foundation of Ethiopia. I envision that if we can get certain amounts of land, certain basic capital, that we can invest in the land and within 3 years we can be totally independent and be generating enough wealth to sustain and maintain the repatriation movement. Because the reason the repatriation movement has been held back, because there's no budget set for it. And we have to create that budget. So these are the areas that we're thinking. His Majesty devised 5-year development plans, and it's time for I as Rastafari internationally to agree to a 5-year development plan and implement it.
Rastafari.
Rastafari Revelation.
Yeah, go ahead, sister.
Yes.
Am I on here? No?
Yes, you are.
I am. Okay. I didn't need to be on air, but I just want to say that I know that everyone has that moment, that awakening moment of let me go home now, and they have to act on it. I was saying to Rasta Binder, he had his moment a very long time ago. I have only one regret, that I took this long to come. But whatever it is, it's like life everywhere else, except it is the fulfillment of a mission. So have a personal plan, make one if you don't have one, and come home. It is really not a different message to the message you talked about over time. We now have the interest of the government of Jamaica once again, the community here, and we're hoping and looking forward to a diplomatic presence once again. I am not absolutely sure how and when that will happen. But there's that side of it as well, and the people are needed to fuel the flame, the whole repatriation initiative, and the interest must take place in the diaspora, as well as Rasta Binder rightly saying, for the preparation that those of us here at home must do.
Yes, sir. Well, I look forward to that representation at the diplomatic level coming to pass. Yes. You know, over the decades, there's been the comings and goings. There's been different ones in the Caribbean, different prime ministers who have expressed interest in what Rastafari is trying to achieve. I know that Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez of St. Vincent was very interested, and also our own Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt. He's supporting the Rastafari movement in cash and kind during African Liberation Day down there. Yes. So I think that as more and more consciousness raises, you know, that the governments will see that Rastafari is the one that is spreading for the true development of the Caribbean man, the black man in general. And they will see the need to identify with the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, who is the true God, the true living God, that all I need to point towards and pray towards at all times.
Rastafari. I'm going to turn off.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure having you. Yes. And you're going to be the last voice to hear on this half hour of the program. We have only 26 seconds, so guidance, let the love of His Imperial Majesty be with you both.
Yes, sir.
Every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Spreaker.com. It's time for
Rastafari Revelation, a 1-hour talk show produced and presented by members of the Rastafari Alliance for Science, Technology,